a very fine line between being crazy and sane. If you get paid for being crazy, then of course you're sane.
That was headquarters. You want me to... You want me to go to Las Vegas at once?
First day I met Hunter, I was in my office in San Francisco. I'd written to Hunter, asking him to write a little small obit of a Hell's Angel who had died, and I was familiar with Hunter's work from reading the Hell's Angels and Galleys before I started Rolling Stone. So, you know, Hunter had written me back and saying he was too busy to do that because he's too busy. He was running for sheriff of Aspen, Colorado, of Pitkin County, and I couldn't do that, and so forth like that. So I wrote, and I said, well, why don't you write about your sheriff's race? And then he came in to see me to discuss this, and Hunter, I really honestly had no idea what to expect with Hunter. And this guy shaved completely bald. He's wearing his little, you know, kind of hippie dark glasses, cigarette on a cigarette holder on here, carrying, you know, classic Hunter, shorts, tennis shoes, socks.
Sir?
Hi.
Carrying a satchel, which then he dumped on this, opens up, and of course it's got a six-pack of beer, it's got a bottle of booze, it's got electronic equipment, it's got this thing in it, can openers, drugs.
My arrival was badly timed.
You know, just kind of sprawls all the place and sits himself down and proceeds to start talking and didn't stop for 2 hours.
I was a great fan of Jack Kerouac's when he came out on the road. And mainly because what I learned from that was you can do this and you can get away with it.
He was writing fiction all these years and getting paid for journalism. And I don't think he buys that 100%. He keeps telling me that Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, he has notes to prove that everything that he wrote there really happened. And I'm sure it did in his mind, but that doesn't mean that it's real for anybody else.
That's right we were. Well, yes, sir. Somebody must have brought some marijuana in here.
You approach the turnstiles and know that when you get there, you have to give the man $2 or he won't let you inside. But when you get there, everything goes wrong.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas was journalism that got out of control. You don't write that kind of thing and go around and say, hey, man, this is true. That is the truest thing I ever wrote. Actually, the statutes of limitations have expired now.
The Rolling Stone became the vehicle for Hunter S. Thompson and gonzo journalism.
You know, gonzo journalism means whatever Hunter says it means. I mean, it's intense, in-depth, practitioner-based journalism.
I use journalism to support my habit, which was writing, which was fiction. I didn't think of it so much as fiction, but writing. So when I got a job in journalism, I guess I didn't separate my left hand from my right hand. And I began to mix them both up a little bit.
The Rum Diary is a book that Hunter S. Thompson began in 1959. He was 22 years old, and he said that the Rum Diary would do for San Juan what The Sun Also Rises did for Paris.
How about the Rum Diary? What about that, man? Let's have some rum. Boy, in the good old days, I was drunk all the time in Puerto Rico on rum. And that's why I wrote the Rum Diary.
It's very autobiographical. It's about a young journalist in the Caribbean, in Puerto Rico, during the 1950s, who gets involved with all sorts of crazy islanders and other journalists.
It was mid-morning when I left the house, but the sun was already so hot that it felt like mid-afternoon. Driving along the beach, I remembered how much I'd enjoyed the mornings when I first came to San Juan. There was something fresh and crisp about the first hours of a Caribbean day.
The Johnny Depp film? I thought it was terrific. Johnny did the most amazing job of capturing Hunter in style and in essence and spirit.
I thought that was pretty good for film. Yeah, I like that. There've been some really silly representations of acid experiences.
You take away the drugs and alcohol and what's left? Well, Hunter would say without drugs he has the mind of an accountant. there's probably some truth to that. I mean, Hunter's a very methodical, careful, precise guy. You know, he doesn't miss a trick.
Yeah, this is, let's just listen to it since this is a B-roll.
Anybody who has lived as long as he has and lived the way he's lived, it's got to be good for them, you know.
What Leary took down with him was the central illusion of a whole lifestyle that he helped create. A generation of permanent cripples, veiled seekers, who never understood the essential old mystic fallacy of the acid culture. The desperate assumption that somebody, or at least some force, is tending the light at the end of the tunnel.
We all come back around. It's like recycling in a way, very simple connection. Yeah, it's, I just look at it as a job. Of course there's nobody tending the light. Yeah, there is no tunnel, it's a circle. How's this? I did bet that the next light you see up there is a cop. That's why I don't want to hang around here too long. Yeah, when they come here, you just say, I went that way. All right, see ya.